Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Raheel Show podcast featuring Jose Partida. I'm so happy you guys are joining us. For those of you watching live, welcome to the podcast. Got a lot of new subscribers, got a lot of new followers, so I truly thank everyone for spreading the show, growing the show. We had great numbers all week long, and I say that every week, Jose, but it really, like every week, we are growing and growing. We were featured in a national publication. The Lou Savarese interview I did with David Nuno was picked up by Heavy.com, and they credited the Raheel Show podcast. So picked up a national credit, which was kind of cool. And I'm sure a lot of people listened to that from that. So big ups to that. And then shout out to our guy AR Platinum, who is on YouTube. He scratches lottery tickets and has picked up a huge following. He gave us a shout out on YouTube, so we're picking up a bunch of followers and subscribers on YouTube. So thank you so much, man. Everyone, the support means the world to me, and we're here. We're here just to talk things out, man. Usually we have a lot of fun, and I think we will have a lot of fun still, Jose. But these are tense times right now. This is a pivotal moment for our country. And with all the justice for George Floyd protests that are going on, man, it's been crazy to watch what's happened in the last 3 days. We'll talk about it all. We're going to have a little fun with some of the wild moments and talk about that. But I want to give you the floor, Jose, because you haven't had an opportunity to voice your opinion about everything. So just start unpacking it, man, and let's talk through this together.
Sure. First off, you mentioned AR Platinum. If I remember correctly, he's the one that took the chips that Juggalo Trey had to eat, the really spicy habanero chips. If I'm remembering correctly, shout out to AR Platinum forever for that. That was incredible. That led to a hilarious moment. So thank you for that. If it's not you, then this is really awkward. But yeah, man, It's been a really, really frustrating couple of days for me as I watched everything unfold. And since when the video originally came out, I think it was last Thursday, was it not? If not last Wednesday, the first protests, if I remember correctly, were on Thursday night, Friday, going into Friday. And just everything that has happened and unpacking everything has just been first the clear, like, it's just exposed a lot of stuff, and that's what really frustrates me, just from the lies of just how different media outlets will present stuff just for the sole purpose of getting views or getting people to engage in their social media posts has been frankly pretty disgusting. Just watching how media members who are there to give people the actual information and the reality of what's going on, getting actually attacked by police officers is a terrifying thought. Like, imagine if me and you were assigned to do something like that for our jobs. Obviously, that doesn't apply to us because I work in sports and you're unemployed currently. But
Whoa.
just imagine that. I had to say it. If I didn't say it, you were going to say it.
No, you're right, man. So
it's
Friday,
a terrifying thing.
yeah. So Friday, when the Houston protests get going, and we'll talk about Officer X. It was mixed reviews, so we'll talk about that. But as the protest was getting going here in Houston, like my friends that at Channel 13 are out there covering it, and you're like, okay, what is going to happen here? Because things are getting a little tense. And luckily in the city of Houston, it didn't get to the point where people are getting shot in terms of media members. And I know some people did get hit with rubber bullets and all that. It didn't get tense like that. But you're right. Like, you just don't know, man. It's turned into everyone is an enemy of everyone, it seems like. And it is a scary thought, man. And it's frustrating to watch. And then as you mentioned, there's so many external factors at play in this with, Antifa and white nationalists all trying to get in and use these peaceful protests or protests that started off as peaceful, turning them into the craziness that has turned into the last few days. And I understand, and I said this on the podcast before, like, I can't put myself in those shoes because I'm not a Black American. I'm not.
Right.
Like, that's not me, right? But I can empathize, and I can try to understand why things are so to the point where people are starting to loot and destroy property. But then we find out, like, hey, all of that, like, that opinion was before we find out there's a lot of people coming in from other cities, from out of town, and infiltrating these protests. And then you start seeing footage of it where people that are there, part of the Black Lives Matters movement and the NAACP or whatever it is, they're there and they're trying to stop these people from putting a bad name on the protest. And it's, whether it be all the groups that I mentioned or young kids who are just trying to go out and be a-holes and loot and use this as an excuse to do whatever they want. It has made this into a story that is so disheartening, man. When people are trying to just express how frustrated they are, to come in and take over something like that, it's heartbreaking.
It's hijacked the message. It's hijacked the whole purpose of the protest, which is there's minorities are treated differently in this country, whether it's just police brutality or if it's other circumstances that you're just born into. That was the original purpose of all of this, and all of that has already lost its value because people have their agendas and they're there to fuck shit up, and it's exhausting, man, and it's devastating. That's what it is. It makes me feel really discouraged and really disheartened about this country, about the ideology that I thought this country represented and what I thought this country was when I was growing up as a kid, and everything you're taught in grade school about how this is such a great country and everything like that. I don't feel that right now.
No, and it's tough to feel that right now. And, I was thinking about that, like, why does this matter to us so much, right? On a human level, we want a fair and a just system for all of our brothers and sisters, no matter the color, right? And unfortunately, a group has been segregated more and has been impacted more by this than anybody, right? Our African American brothers, our Black brothers and sisters have been impacted by this, right? Then on the second level, you start thinking about your personal experiences, right? You go, for me at least it was, man, this country, and I love it. I love this country because it's given me, my family, so many opportunities and has given us such a great life, right? And it's unfair that not everybody has a fair shot at this living here. And then you add the third part. You go, well, what can I do? Right? There's only so much you can watch and look at and vote and all of that stuff. And you go, what can I do? And then that's where it sinks in for me, is like, what can I do? Right? Do I need to go protest? Do I need to put my best foot forward and treat everyone fairly? Absolutely. But at the core of this, Jose, what can we all do?
That's I think where a lot of my frustration finds itself right now. The inability to have an answer of, like, what do I personally need? And obviously this isn't about me. Like, this is deeper than me and you, Raheel. Like, this is a societal thing, but in my heart to heart, it's really difficult right now to process and to think about, where do we go from here? What do we do next? What do I do next about this? Like, it's a really weird spot.
So Friday night or Friday evening, I reached out to my friend who's an officer, and if you've listened to his podcast, it's the episode previous to this one, Officer X. He's an officer here in a local police department. I talked to him. I respect the guy, and I thought he did a good job of presenting a fair point of view. And I wake up Saturday, and somebody that listens to his podcast, whose opinion I respect, okay, he left a pretty nasty message and was not happy with it. And I was like, man, I started questioning things, right? I'm like, damn, man, did I handle that podcast interview incorrectly? I went back and listened to it as well. But the reason I'm bringing this up is Friday was such a crazy day for all of us because Thursday night we start seeing what's happening, and we're like, okay, something is about to happen here where these protests are going to keep going until something is done. I mean, for crying out loud, the officer wasn't even arrested until Friday, right? An officer commits murder and he was not arrested, and the other officers still haven't been arrested. So you go, hell yeah, be frustrated. You know what? Be upset. And I can empathize with you. And you know what? On a certain level, I hate seeing property destroyed, but I get it, man. There's only so much you can take. But then again, you got to back up and go, well, look, there was outside forces. I get that too. And then Friday night, like I was like you, man. You and I were texting with El Jefe. We're going back and forth. We're trying to make it, we're trying to kind of cut down on the mood a little bit and make each other laugh because it's such a heavy thing and it's so frustrating to watch. And then Friday night, man, after I did that interview, I went outside and I hung out with my neighbors. And I talked to them for 2 hours. And that's what I needed. That was the perfect remedy to I sat with them, and I'm friends with them. It's not like this was my first time. I don't want to make it seem like I just went there and extended my hand to my African American neighbors and go, wow, tell me your story. No, I know that we hang out all the time. He was actually the neighbor I hooped with, where I put the hoop out in the middle of the street. And then a white lady drove past us and was pretty upset. But sitting there and talking to them and understanding it, where these things that we think we know and we kind of understand, Jose, to hear them actually say it, that my 14-year-old kid is terrified of us going to work. Not terrified for his life, but terrified for us.
Jesus, man.
It's so hard, man. And then you start digging more into it. You start talking to them about their experiences. And my neighbor told me a story about when he was serving for our country, was stopped by an officer and was almost, that's it. He was almost put out on the side of the road and got a beating, but he didn't, luckily. For whatever reason, he didn't. A higher power, God, whatever you want to say. Something happened and that officer didn't beat him up. And he was recounting his story. He remembers everything. He's older than me. He remembers every little detail of that story. To hear those stories, that's when it started hitting you. Like it started hitting me, at least, that, okay, I already empathize with all these, with everything that's going on with every single person that's out there. I understand. But to hear it, man, it took it to the next level. And it's crazy what's happening in our country, man. And the fact that we don't have leaders that are trying to mend it and trying to build bridges and do the right thing. Everyone is trying to just get clout. Yeah, and entice, like to escalate the situation. Nobody wants to be the bigger man, it seems like, on the higher government levels, right? Like, who's going to be that person that says, yes, we were wrong, and here's how we fix this? Nobody wants to do that. And then you start all the footage from the weekend, man, where the cops are just being a-holes to these protesters. And I get it. They're tense moments. And there's protesters that are being asses out there as well. And they're hurting cops. But like I said in that interview, and like Officer X said, if you're an officer, man, there's an expectation sometimes that you are the best of us. And that you won't do something as silly as beating down college kids and tasering them, while they're in their car. So it's hard, man. It's a hard time right now.
It is. And it's this, again, like the frustration is, what's the solution? Where's the solution? Who's bringing the solution? Like, it just doesn't, like, what's going to change? What's going to stop these things from happening 2 days from now, 3 days from now, a week from now? Like, what's the answer here?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I truly don't know. It seems like there's no plan. It seems like you know what? This is just another flare up, and guess what's going to happen? Nothing, right? Until we actually see some change, nothing is going to happen, it seems like. And that, you're right, that's the frustrating
Someone else
part.
will get murdered, and we'll be doing this again.
Right? If they didn't listen in the last 10 years, why are they going to listen now? Right? What reform has been put into place? It's tough, man. It's hard out there, and you know, I empathize with them, and my heart breaks for everyone. And keep trying. That's all we can do, right? Like, we're gonna speak out. We're gonna go to the protests. We're gonna help out as much as possible. But until somebody in charge does something, whether that be, and the whole thing about, oh, you got to vote. All right, you know what? We'll go vote, man. We'll go vote. But what's going to happen? Truly, what is going to happen? So, if you guys want to comment, and yeah, you know, for those of you that are watching live, please join us. If you and comment away, you know, we want to see your comments. And if you're listening on the audio side, make sure you tweet us after the fact. _Raheel for me, at Parj94 for Jose. We're going to start getting to some of these comments here, so let's do it. Angel says the Civil Rights Act only got passed after the killing of Dr. King and 6 days of riots across America. Unfortunately, progress comes with peaceful protests, but also civil disobedience. I hope you have a chance to listen to Dr. Cornel West on his take on how we got here and how we move forward. It doesn't get fixed, or these cops don't get convicted. It will only get worse. And that is a fair point. It's hard when people they're not being committed. They're not getting the punishment for the crimes that they commit. And you know
and he's Angel said it best. Like, it's such a thin line. Unfortunately, progress comes with peaceful protest, but also civil disobedience. There's such a thin line, and it feels like it's like dental floss thin. Like, it's terrible, man. It's brutal.
Yeah, it is. I am working on getting one of our friends, Mike Pearson, on the podcast. He is actually out at the LA protest right now. He was covering it, so he's gonna try. He said there's a curfew in place over there, so he's walking back to his car right now, and he's gonna try to join in, and we can ask him some questions. And I believe he is old enough, where he's seen some crazy stuff out there, man.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to him as well. Okay, other moments from the weekend that you want to unpack. You start thinking about it. I want to start with one real quickly. The nonsense that I saw from companies, from the Houston Chronicle, the whole, now, you know what? This is what Colin Kaepernick was preaching and protesting. It's like, you idiots. Are you seriously saying this now? And now people going, peaceful protest is the answer, blah, 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 all this crap. And you go, dude,
where have you been?
He literally said that, like, this is why I'm doing it, but because everyone has this weird hard-on to show the world that how patriotic they are, they mix the message up. The one that I tweeted to you guys, or I messaged you, I messaged Nuno. I didn't want to tweet it out on a Sunday because I honestly just didn't want to spend my whole Sunday on Twitter and catching, all these tweets from racists and all that stuff. But the one thing that really ticked me off over the weekend was the Houston Chronicle, a paper here, obviously in Houston.
Right.
They put out this self J-off cover, okay, where their sports section, well, isn't all J-off a self J-off?
Yeah, pretty much.
So they put off this emoji hand, I'm doing the J-off hand emoji now. They put out this cover, which basically summarizes this, because I don't even want to read it, but it just said, imagine if we had listened to Colin Kaepernick, we wouldn't be here. And you're like, oh my God, you idiots. You literally printed a whole opinion piece from one of your writers that called Colin Kaepernick an idiot and dismantled Colin Kaepernick because of his protest, his peaceful protest. Everyone out here is just trying to capitalize off of this, and that was so disgusting. And I was going to tweet it and be like, are we really doing this, Houston Chronicle? But again, I just didn't want all that crap on a Sunday. Even though I'm unemployed and every day's a Sunday, Jose, I just didn't want it on the actual Sunday.
There's also the similar line to yours. Every corporation feeling the need to send out a black and white message where they're really not saying anything. Like, it's just like we support equal rights for everyone, and we will work together with communities to better ensure that everyone's treated fairly. Like, you're not really saying anything.
Yeah, just say no. I don't think I've seen one team or any corporation say police brutality.
I think the Wizards had a really good one today. Let me find it really quickly.
Okay.
But the Wizards were getting slammed by a lot of people because of how direct they were with theirs earlier this afternoon. And I think that was the biggest one. The biggest, most like powerful one that I saw that I thought was really good. So they tweeted out a 4-picture screenshot. And it says, "We will no longer tolerate the assassination of people of color in this country. We will no longer accept the abuse of power from law enforcement. We will no longer accept ineffective government leaders who are tone deaf, lack compassion, or respect for communities of color. We will no longer shut up and dribble." And from what I was reading earlier today, the team made this statement in a collaboration with their players. So John Wall and Bradley Beal were involved in this statement that was blowing up all over NBA Twitter earlier today. So to me, that was the only one that really was saying anything.
Yeah, I saw the Houston Astros post something, and I was looking. I was like, Control F, police brutality. Oh, nothing in there? Okay, cool. Like, thanks. You guys are obviously pointing out, yes, there is racism. Our system is all jacked up. It is. Thanks for pointing that out. Welcome to the party in 2020, guys. Like, I can't believe it took the murder of a man for people to realize, like, oh, there's racism. No, crap. It was so ugly, and like it's so annoying sometimes,
Right.
where you go, guys, just say it. Just say it. I love that Alex Bregman actually said, "Oh, cool. You know what? If you're lose it. Get out of here. Get out of here, KKK fans." Like, it's so stupid. Like, guys, just say that there's racism. It's okay. Because the people, yeah. Sorry, one more thing. The people, and the other thing is, like, we have to say it where we have to tell people that there's racism. Yes. But I also understand the side of this. Guess what? If there's a guy out there that's racist, you know what's not going to turn him? Is a message from me or you, Jose, or a company.
Uniqlo or from New Era had one. Like all sorts of corporations. Yeah. And Ro makes a good point in the chat. We shouldn't fall for corporation statement on these issues. Let their actions define them. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The one that really pissed me off earlier today was the U.S. national team, the men's soccer team, whose jersey you're currently wearing, tweeted out a black and white picture. One team, one nation, one team, united against racism. The same sports union that in 2017 told all players in the men's national team and the women's national team, no, you have to stand for the anthem. When Megan Rapinoe was supporting Colin Kaepernick by protesting. This is the same sports company, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's the same corporation who is backpedaling 3 years later.
It's like, come on, the NFL. Why did the NFL release a message? The NFL should have no business saying anything. The NFL should literally just should release a message saying, "We're sitting this one out." That's it.
Yeah,
we're sitting this one out. Signed, Roger Goodell. Mike Pence, same thing. He tweeted out something about peaceful protesting. He literally got up and left because Colin Kaepernick was peacefully protesting. Come on, guys. So for everyone, where they go, why are they looting? Why are they destroying their own community and all of that? Look, man, there might be outside factors. But I also understand that, hey, guess what? We tried it the peaceful way. We tried doing it by just taking a knee and trying to start conversations. And guess what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. You guys didn't listen then. So, and then you add in the whole dumpster fire of people trying to come in and hijack the message. And it's like, yuck, stop. This is so bad. So bad. I'm trying to think of what else stood out from this weekend. Art Acevedo, our police chief here in Houston, trying to get them clicks as well, which is, you know what?
Yeah.
He did that, and then you go,
Wasn't someone executed a couple months ago?
Yeah, so there's been,
okay.
you're like, well, there's been some stuff with your police department as well. Like, nobody's perfect, okay? I get that, but look, being out there, getting caught up in the moment, that's what Art was doing. He picked up the mic and got carried away. And you're like, ooh, no.
He started feeling himself.
Yeah, he did, and the crowd was in it. The crowd was into his message. So there's been a lot of random stuff. We will do our funniest moments from the protest, because in spite of all of this, there were some funny ass moments. And I'm not talking about protesters getting beat up or anything like that, and we're not making fun of what's happening.
Right.
But there were funny moments from the weekend where we're like, what the hell is happening? Somebody stole a freaking cop horse and rode off with it. Like,
I
what?
forgot about that. Red Dead Redemption style.
Somebody stole a horse from a cop and rode off. Wasn't that in Chicago?
I think so.
And then you get the looters, right? And then, like, for us three, we have a text thread and we have like 5 different threads on 5 different platforms. We need to consolidate. Yeah, we need to consolidate.
We have a Twitter one, we have an Instagram one, and we have a text one.
So, I mean, the looters are getting into stores that we know, shoe stores, and stealing, $10,000 shoes. And we're like, what the hell is happening? And then the next day, protesters broke into a Mercedes-Benz dealership, Jose, and literally stole cars off the lot. Like, bro, what the F is happening here? They stole a G-Wagon and then an SL, right? Like, they actually put up ramps so it wouldn't like, what?
The man who got his ass beat and was acting like he was assaulted by 2 black males, when it turns out the idiot had a bow and arrow, and he got jumped by like 20 people. And then I think today he did another interview where he apologized. Like, he's the worst of the worst.
Legolas?
I think that was in Atlanta.
Yeah,
what?
the Legolas, right? My dude pulled up like he was on Lord of the Rings. He got his bow and arrow out, like you mentioned, and is threatening people. And guess what? You got your ass whipped. That would forget a protest, forget peaceful protest. If somebody is threatening you with a bow and arrow, and guess what? You have backup. That dude's getting his ass kicked. Like that. That's just gonna happen.
Yeah. Sammy points out a funny one. Can't forget when they looted in a cheesecake factory, and homegirl walked out with a whole ass cheesecake.
Like, some of these things, you're just like, come on, what are you guys doing? The Vans one was pretty funny, where the 2 white kids break in, they steal it, and then they turn to the right, and there's a cop right there.
They run off like cartoon characters.
Yeah.
And then a third person walks out of the store. It's at the very end of the clip. A third person walks out of the store, and the cop is right in front of her, and they kind of just stop and look at each other. She drops the shirt and walks away, and he just lets her walk away.
Man, it is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. By the way, so we're recording this on a Monday night because it is a Monday night chat with Jose Partida. Tuesday is going to be the Houston protest. It's going to be in downtown, Bun B, Trey the Truth. They've already said it, guys. This is a peaceful protest. This is peaceful. So don't, like, if you see somebody trying to hijack this, call them out, get authorities. This is going to be a peaceful one. I like that they're and I think most of the protests have said that. So I don't think did you ever meet him at the Roughnecks games? Hardbody Kiati, DJ
No,
Kiati,
no, I didn't have the chance to. No.
great guy. I mean, just truly a wonderful human being. He works for 97.9 The Box. He was the stadium DJ. And, I got to know him working on the entertainment side of the Roughnecks. And he said, he was recounting the text messages that he's received. And on Friday, he got a text. No, sorry, Saturday, because Sunday I was driving. Saturday, he got a text message saying that, hey, pull up on the Galleria. Pull up, let's go. And you're like, what? Well, hold on, what? He gets there, and it's like all kids doing this now, like trying to hijack or trying to break into the Galleria and stuff. So it's like, man, there's so much crap going out there. You got to weed it out. How about this, dude? I think he's getting connected right now. So for the first time ever, Jose, we're going to do a live reporter from the LA protests. I think he's heading back. Let's see if he can hear us. Yo, Pearson, you're hot. What are you doing, buddy?
Yo.
Mike Pearson.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Dude, how are you, man?
What's up, fellas? You all right?
I'm
Mike,
doing all right.
Good to see you, man.
I know, man. All is well?
All is well, man. How are things out there?
Man, you know what? Protest started at 4 o'clock. You had two different groups going, and then they kind of got together about 5:30. Curfew was at 6, but a lot of people are kind of just still violating that, But, you had a peaceful protest today overall. And you had some people, they had little encounters with the police, whether it be an argument about going a certain direction, somebody not involved with the protest. And then you have people that were kind of like, dude, don't even do that. Don't get a riot started. You know what I mean? So you have some of the protesters really policing the crowd, which was cool. But you can see the looters when they're coming out, man. And that's they got the hammers, they got the bats, and these dudes, most of them not a part of the protest. They just, thanks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Is you being out there, in an environment that is getting so much publicity for all the looting? Do you see these outside forces that are trying to corrupt this message of peace, of change that you're marching for right now?
I you know what? I haven't personally. I've seen it on TV, but that's why I kind of wanted to see it for myself since it was in the city. I didn't see any of that today, like the anarchy, guys that are just coming in with their own mission. But I did see guys with hammers in their back pocket, guys with bats, things like that, where it's pretty much, you already know what they're doing. They're waiting for the sun to go down, and they're waiting for a crowd of people to be together and waiting for the next vulnerable location, establishment to attack. So that's pretty much it right now.
You being from LA, you were how old when the Rodney King protests were going on?
92. I was 16 years old.
Wow.
What do you remember about that?
Man, I remember a lot of people pretty much burning down their own neighborhood, which is a little different now. People are kind of taking their anger to the suburban cities, Santa Monica, Culver City, Long Beach, places like that. It's not really going on inside the neighborhood. But I just remember it was a lot more crazier, I think. But I think back then the difference was, I think mainly it was just Black and Latino. Right now, you have more Caucasians, in the protest than any other nationality.
Really? Wow.
Mike, one last thing before we let you go. I know you got to get back to your car safely. You being an African American in this country right now, being through so much already, seen so much already, the highs and the lows. What does this moment mean to you, and how do we get beyond this and repair America?
Man, I just think it has to be real reform. It has to be real reform. They have to start prosecuting these cops, man, especially the cops that just sit there literally or stand there and watch a man die. They can't walk over to their partner and say, hey, man, that's enough. You know, this blue code is really killing us. And I think it's bigger than a lot of the cops, man. It's bigger than that. You know, it's just a system that we gotta do better for the African Americans. We gotta do better at voting, man. To be honest, I think I work with juveniles, at-risk youth, and I want to add that right on to my, agenda to help out kids now is to vote, man. You gotta vote. I think the vote, and I think the dollar, man. As far as just blacks, man, where you spend your dollars at, man. What companies are you spending your dollars at? I think that voting is really will it's a better voice than the protests and the looting and things like that. But I just think we just need to see better policing, man, with the community. I know a lot of communities do have it better than some communities as far as policing their community, but we just need an all-around better community relations.
All right, man. Dude, thank you so much for checking in with us. Love you, brother. You are awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Keep up the great work, man.
You too, guys. Have a great one, all right?
Take care of yourself.
Mike Pearson.
Okay, Hollywood is still going up, man.
Man, it's going up. Hey, turn your camera around. I want to see this. I love this.
All right, guys.
Later,
Stay safe,
brother.
Mike
Is awesome, man. He is such a good dude.
He was one of the first guys to give me a shot on SB Nation Radio, Mike Pearson, before he left back to go to California.
Man,
Miss Mike Pearson. Genuine good guy.
I like the chats that I've had with Mike Pearson. They've been legendary, man. He's just a good dude. He has a way of explaining things and breaking it down for you that few people have.
Right.
And he did it just right now. So I saw him out at the protest. I was like, man, I got to hear from you. I need to hear from you because I need to cleanse my palate of David Guetta giving a shout out to George Floyd's family and then dropping the I have a dream speech with a beat in the background like a freaking buffoon.
That felt. You said it was like a lost Chappelle Show skit. It felt like something off the Eric Andre show. Like, is this really happening? Like this isn't happening, right? Like, does he not have a single person on his team that was like, Davey, baby, don't do this. No, this ain't the move, baby. Don't do it.
What was the wildest moment for? So that is up there. David Guetta, for those of you who missed it, international DJ. He was doing an appearance for MLS, like a live stream to heal the world, basically, of COVID-19. And then it turns into, hey, dude, this whole thing is going on right now, and this is crazy times as well. So he's like, let me remix MLK's I Have a Dream speech for you guys and drop a sick beat on it. And he did that. And you're like, what, dude, come on. I think there have been a lot of wild moments from the weekend. That was top 3 wild moment for me. Like, what the hell just happened?
So that wasn't today, because I saw it today when you posted it, actually.
Yeah, it was from the weekend. Yeah, I thought it was from like last night or something. It might be from today. Who knows?
I can't believe we missed that until today. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The waves. First of all, the tigers got loose from
in Oakland,
the zoo
right?
in Oakland. Did that really happen?
So they said tigers got loose, but supposedly they were all accounted for, so it was okay.
So they found all of them. There was also a hippo that got out. Was that also in Oakland?
So there was a hippo that got out?
There was a hippo that got out.
Who said? Nobody said anything about a hippo to me.
Maybe that wasn't in Oakland, or maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know.
Okay. How about Batman showing up to the protest?
Oh my goodness, I forgot about
in Philadelphia.
Batman. Yes, Batman in Philly. The video of people having dance-offs in front of cops. I don't know if you saw that. And then someone on Twitter was like, I guess cops could only protect now because they just got served.
Come on, man.
Something along those lines.
So I don't know if it was real or not, but somebody sent me a video because I tweeted out. I took the Batman video and put the Hans Zimmer Dark Knight music behind it.
You did do that.
Because I was like, okay, this is so epic. The Batman, the guy who showed up is a cosplayer. Like, he goes around the community and does this. Supposedly an all-around good dude.
I can't believe you're here. Someone was yelling at him. Like, it's not the actual Batman.
But he He walked just like the real Batman, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Like he took the Dark Knight walk and perfected it. But supposedly there was the Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker was out and about too. Somebody dressed up like him. I didn't.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
I don't know if that was from a protest or if somebody was just putting stuff out. But man, like what Batman? Okay, so Batman shows up and we're like, come on, dude, that was
Read
wild.
the room, please. Anonymous returned to social
Anonymous drops a bomb on everything, and then the creator and the designer for Off-White, Virgil Abloh, he gets roasted by the internet for donating only $50 to help make bail for a lot of protesters. Right?
That's what it was. Right.
In Miami,
it was a Miami bail fund, and he donated $50. And I saw that when he posted it, I was like, am I being judgy, or does that seem like a little bit? Maybe I'm being too judgy. And then I go on Twitter, and immediately people were ripping him. The man who sells socks for $80 a pop.
And those of you who don't know who Virgil is or what Off-White is, it's that brand that has everything in quotation marks. Nike had a famous run of shoes collaborations with him, the 10. And you'll see these shoes that, now they retail upwards of $2,000, $3,000. The Jordan Off-White Jordans are legendary. Everyone wants a pair of those. He's Kanye's like one of Kanye's best friends. He does collaborations with Louis Vuitton. The dude is fine, okay? And I'm with you. Like we should not be donation shaming.
Right.
But come on, man.
This is a multi-millionaire. You
can't just be donating $50, okay? And you know what? If you're gonna make a cheap donation, don't screenshot it. Don't be proud of a $50 donation when you're right. Your socks are $110.
Sammy points out another one we missed. J.R. Smith beating the hell out of a looter.
That was awesome. Great call, Sammy. Great call. That was amazing. We missed
that one, yeah.
J.R. Smith, former Cleveland Cavalier, on the day he screwed up, May 31st. Yeah, the 2-year anniversary of the LeBron meme. Like, what are you doing? J.R. Smith chases down a white punk, as he called him, who broke his car window and beat the hell out of him. Now, everyone going, he beat the snot out of him and all that. I was like, I don't know if it was the dude got up and ran away still. Okay, so it wasn't that bad of a beating. He took some hard hits, but if you're going to say he beat the crap out of him, like, he better be laying still.
It's not like he threw a hot soup at him or something.
No. But he did catch this kid who broke his window that wasn't even around a protest site. And then
that was in a neighborhood.
Yeah, it was in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And see, that goes back to like, dude, there's other people there starting their own crap, they're just trying to muddy the message. And that is so frustrating. And I'm glad JR caught one of them. And a lot of them got caught over the weekend.
Yep.
A lot of them caught a beating over the weekend. Because, like, what are you doing? Why are you breaking stuff? Right? And it turns out, because they're trying to mess with the message.
Josh mentions the Bobby Hill-looking guy that got arrested in Nashville. I don't know if you caught that.
Which one was that? I missed that one.
He started the fire at a courthouse in Nashville. And he got caught, and for some reason they posted a picture of him getting cuffed, and he looks like Bobby Hill.
Just so much crap, man. I mean, it was just one of the wildest weekends. And by the way, those officers still haven't been arrested as of recording today, Monday night on June 1st, which brings me to my next thing. It's June 1st, Jose. Half the year has passed us by now almost. We're 6 months into a year.
I don't believe you. It's been at least 3 years.
This has been the longest year ever that I can ever remember, obviously. I think for most of us, because we're all sharing in tragedy, this has definitely been the longest year. And look, there have definitely been, there have been moments where it's like, hey, you have personal tragedy, but we're all sharing this together. Off the top of your head, what have been some of the biggest moments of the year for you without using Google?
So the two that immediately jumped in my head are pretty close to each other. Late January, we lose Kobe Bryant. And then a couple days later, about a week later, the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes win their first Super Bowl. Off the top of my head, those are the only two things that immediately popped to me as like from the beginning of the year. I couldn't think of anything else. So much has happened.
Yeah, I remember when Kobe and his daughter passed away, along with everyone else that was in the helicopter, having a discussion with Lance, and we said, man, that is probably going to be the biggest story of the decade.
Oof.
Like right out the gate, right? Like right out the gate, we're like, it's 2020. It's been only 3 months, and this has a potential to be the biggest story of the decade. And it's probably not even the biggest story that comes to mind now.
No.
From the decade or from the year. Right? You've got COVID-19. Yeah. You got COVID-19. We've got the murder of George Floyd.
The upcoming election in November.
Yeah.
It's taking a back seat.
You got President Trump holding a Bible like it's show and tell. That happened today.
So what a lot of people are saying is that the protest that was happening outside of it was broken up and tear gas was thrown at those protesting so he could safely cross the street, which is egregious if that's the truth.
That's what, yeah, and CNN put that up as well. CNN put that up, and you're like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Angel mentioned something that I completely forgot. Remember we were going to have World War III?
No, I don't remember, honestly. I don't even remember that.
That was God, was that in February? I think that was after the Super Bowl where that top official in Iran was murdered, and everyone's like, "Oh, yep, this means World War III."
That's right. That's right. I totally forgot about that. Josh mentioned the wheelchair lady from the weekend. That was Thursday.
Oh my God!
The wheelchair lady trying to stop the looting with a knife gets blown up by a fire extinguisher.
I already forgot about that.
The wheelchair lady is a good one. And by the way, she can walk. Did you see the footage of her walking?
Did you see the post-game interview when they were interviewing her about what happened? Like, Jesus.
That's a great one. Sammy said, speaking of an ass beating, the guy in Houston, I think it was in Dallas that pulled out the sword, right? The machete. And he got his ass beat.
People were saying he got killed. And from the first videos, it looked like he did get killed. Like he's lifeless. And turns out he wasn't. But my goodness.
Bro, wheelchair lady. Now I see. Now I'm back to laughing at stuff.
She was trying to attack people with a steak knife. Like, over a target. Like, why are you defending a massive corporation? You're gaining nothing from doing that.
And then, but the funny part is, the beginning of the video, there's a white chick who's running out with stuff, and she didn't stab him. She's like, only going for the black people. And you go, well, you're like, hey, Karen, you're missing this. It was unbelievable, man. Like, the entire weekend has been crazy. And you know what? I'm gonna have to go read Dr. Wes's. I think it was a book or story that one of our commenters mentioned to talk about how did we get here and how do we get out of this, right? Like, we need reform. We need those who commit the crimes to be held responsible. Across the board, by the way. Across the board, right? We need a change in our system. That needs to happen. Everybody needs to get a fair shot at this. And until that happens, guess what? A lot of people are going to be upset. And even those that aren't impacted by it. Because we can be upset for our common man. We can be upset for our neighbors and our friends. So until things get fixed, get ready, man. This is gonna happen a lot more. You wanted to ask me about SpaceX.
I did, because that was a big thing over the weekend, and everyone was making a big deal out of it. And I kind of didn't really look into it because I saw you were really into it, and I kind of wanted your explanation and your perspective as to why it was a big deal. Because to me, it didn't feel like a big deal, and I kind of wanted to wait until today, until you kind of explained it to me, for me to get a better idea of why it mattered that we send another rocket. Like, what's the big
Okay.
deal? Like,
So number one,
besides, also we got to talk about bringing back the faux hawk, which apparently was a thing for you in the early, in like 2008. You were rocking the faux hawk.
that was 2013. Okay, 2013 when I wasn't in
That makes
radio.
it worse. That makes
Okay,
it worse.
2013. That's 7 years. That was last decade, Jose. That was in the last decade.
You and your faux hawk.
All right. So number one, why it was such an important thing is America is now back to sending people to space on their own, not on Russian rockets. We're not just hitching rides up there now, right? Number two, it was done obviously by SpaceX and a NASA joint venture. What does that mean? Look, NASA's always worked with a lot of contracts, and they've used contracts to not only build the rockets, build a Saturn V rocket, build the rovers, all that stuff. But now they are hand in hand working with a private company, and what that means is now, guess what? You can do it at you can do it at a cost that is efficient. You can do things that don't have government tape, right? Like you're just working with them, and you can do it. You can do things Elon's way, right? And make the spacesuits look like they're fencing off-white collaborations, or have touchscreens in a freaking rocket ship. Like that's the future. And third, why it's a huge deal to me is because now we are one step closer to not only accomplishing all sorts of goals in space, whether it be getting back to the moon, getting to Mars, but also we can now get closer to allowing citizens in space. The privatization of space is real. Like it's happening. Virgin Galactic is doing it, right? But we're one step closer to like that really happening, right? Because now these rockets you can reuse them,
right?
And that was one of the cool things about the launch on Saturday was not only did they get into orbit, but then the Phase 1 rocket comes back down and lands smoothly on a drone ship. That's freaking amazing. That's like that's future. That is the future, right? That is stuff from movies that we've watched. It's incredible what's happening. It adds a whole new element in my mind of what made NASA so great. Like I love it, man. The breakthroughs that we're going to get from this program with the joint venture from SpaceX, man, I can't wait.
Raheel was just hyped because he's been able to bump Rocket Man nonstop.
No, that's LFA. That's not why. Okay.
I feel like that's kind of why.
Bro, that was nuts, man. The wildest part was they're in there, they get into orbit, and then they start touching screens. You know, like when you go back and watch the old Apollo stuff, they're flicking like there's 100,000 switches in the space shuttle. And they're just and now they're just going touchscreen, boop, beep, boop, boop, like just casually. The spaceship looks like the MoMA. It's so beautiful. It's clean.
The
MoMA. Right? Didn't you feel like you're like, hey, are we in the Manila right now? What is happening right now? It's a beautiful spaceship inside. So I mean, like, it is a huge deal, man. It's and look, the privatization of space has already started. Satellites, all that's been happening for a while. So to see the rocket side of things now, man, it's nuts. And he did it at half the cost as Boeing.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe the number was 55 million as opposed to 100 million that Boeing is right now currently at for getting people to space.
So what you're saying is eventually me and you are going to be living somewhere in Mars doing the podcast from Mars.
I don't think Mars is going to happen in our life, but who knows?
Not with that attitude, jeez.
No, not in our life. Not in our life. But I will tell you, in our life, you and I will go to space.
Dang.
We will come back down quick. Like we'll probably go one orbit around maybe, and we'll come right back down. But eventually we will get to space, right? Like how expensive was it to take a plane ride when that technology first came around? And now you got planes grounded because nobody wants to fly, right? Like
Right.
there's just an abundance of chances to go and fly and get to places. There's going to be, and this is just the first iteration, Jose. The first iteration. What is it going to look like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? It's going to be nuts. So that's why I'm so pumped for that mission. And you know why it was also important? The fact that nothing went wrong. The
Oh
program
God,
didn't
yeah.
get scrapped. Right? If something goes wrong, that's it. Like, we're not working with a private company anymore. So everybody go buy a Tesla in honor of SpaceX.
You a Tesla boy?
I love Teslas. I just can't afford them on the salary that I'm currently on.
The $0 salary?
Yeah.
The one thing that annoyed me the hell is everybody had the spaceman picked the best time to leave Earth
Oh,
joke that every single person had to make. Every single person had to have that joke.
yeah, that was the
I
lamest
wish I
joke.
was the spaceman so I could leave the Earth right now because I don't want to be here. I don't either, damn it.
Yeah, they picked a hell of a time to leave. No, they didn't. They were actually supposed to leave on Thursday,
When it got
right? Wednesday or Thursday,
right?
Yeah, it got postponed on Wednesday. Sorry. So they were supposed to leave before everything, like all the protests. So no, this is a hell of a time. You mean that was a hell of a time for Mother Nature to bump the rocket launch, and then the COVID-19 jokes in space and all that. I do have one joke. I don't know if you saw it when they did connect with the International Space Station. They had khakis on. So from the time they got into orbit and they waited to orbit with the ISS, they took off their off-white fencing collaboration and put on some bland-ass khakis.
Why wouldn't they have like some off-white or some Nike Tech fleeces? Like, you're in space. Redesign fashion, damn it. Why are you wearing freaking khakis?
Everyone else is in a
Change
space
fashion forever.
Yeah, everyone else on the ISS is in a space jumpsuit. And my dudes are like, you know what? This is the biggest moment. There's cameras there, HD footage. Hey, did you pack the khakis?
Mark, why are you wearing my chinos?
Like, who packs a pair of khakis? You can't bring many things to space, okay? There's down to the gram, there's space weight limits, right? And they're like, no, dude. They literally fought for those khakis, Jose. Okay? When they were with their mission director, they go, Steve, I'm not getting on unless we get the khakis on board. And not even in storage. They put him in the actual cabin so they could change. Bro, it was nuts, man. It was nuts. 10 years from now, down on Earth while still staying at home to avoid the corona.
Oh,
Jose,
God.
we're trying to see if we can have Dave connect to us from space later in the show. I like that. Yeah. Nuna's going to get to space way before us. That's going to happen.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's definitely going to happen. Sammy has a good comment. In honor of space stuff, Raheel, you got to tell the Independence Day story about them booing when they blew up Houston. Top 3 Raheel and Del Show moments. Do you know about this?
I don't remember that.
So we went to Sharpstown Mall to watch Independence Day. My
You
dad.
and Del?
No,
Oh.
my dad, me, and my brother.
Okay.
Because we love Will Smith, right? At the time, Will Smith's the hottest. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's popping off. And we're like, we got to go watch this movie. It has aliens, everything. So my dad was like, cool, let's go. Let's pull up. Let's go to Sharpstown Mall because it's right by Harwin. And I'll take you right after work. So we pull up. We get there. It is packed, okay? I think we were the only Pakistani people in there.
Of course.
And it's literally all Mexicans and black people.
You're in Sharpstown. What did you think was going to
Right? Yeah, like, it's mi gente. I get it. I grew up in Harbin. All right? I'm fine with it. So we're sitting there, we're watching, and then, I don't know if you remember the scene, but they go, once the aliens land and all the satellite ships are at major cities, they start destroying them. And one of the cities that gets destroyed is the city of Houston, and they show a sign. I think it was a 45, if I remember. And it's destroyed, and everybody in the theater starts booing. like, no, they were booing and throwing stuff at the screen
No.
because they were so pissed that we just got blown up in a movie that was filmed a year ago. So that's the Independence Day story. Yes, that's it right there.
Did you participate?
No, I didn't know what was happening. I was like, why are we booing?
Your love for Houston wasn't embedded in you yet.
No, it was embedded, but it was more
Why
like.
didn't you do it? Why didn't you throw your buttery popcorn at the monitor?
Well, Jose, you think our broke asses bought popcorn there? Come on now.
No, you snuck in some.
We snuck in some Pakistani snacks. Come on now.
It's not even about being broke. It's about being smart.
That's true. No, we didn't boot because I was like, Will Smith is still alive. What's wrong, guys? Okay, sometimes you got to lose a battle to win the war.
I was the fat kid who we'd go to CC's Pizza before we'd go to the movie theater, and I'd line my cargo shorts with brownies.
Oh my god!
And that's why I was such a fat kid.
Okay, let's rapid fire through this because we are about to hit an hour here. You said we still need to talk about Community. What happened?
Oh no, I just feel like we need to. I've been rewatching Community, and maybe next week we should talk more about how it's not appreciated enough. And I know it's a cult favorite show, and everyone who's really into TV loves Community. But I have a new appreciation for it. Now that I'm rewatching it.
I'll do that, and I'll start rewatching them as well because I'm out of things to watch. I rewatched The Dark Knight last night. And I started
inspired by the Philadelphia.
Yes, absolutely. That was the only reason. I was like, I'm gonna put it on. And man, that movie still holds up. God damn, that's such a good movie. I started watching Space Force. I finished 5 episodes. You guys can skip it. Oh
man.
How long did you last? 3 minutes?
I watched the first 10 minutes of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not really paying attention. I'm not giving it a fair shot. Let me just watch it later. Because I was just not into it, and it has such a good cast. Like I want to give it a chance.
I think your headspace was in a weird place as well as all of ours was this weekend. It's to me, it's like a show they wrote because Space Force was such a funny thing when President Trump announced it. It was almost like, hey, let's take a bunch of Twitter jokes and put them on the screen. I will say about 4 episodes in. You do have some substance. You're like, okay, I can deal with this. It's okay. But it's just not that funny yet. I haven't started Dave yet. I need to. I will watch that. Yeah, I know. I need to finish that.
If you start tomorrow, you'll be done by Thursday.
Yeah, it's quick, right?
Yeah, it's 20 minute 10 episodes.
Okay, perfect.
It's really good. I wanted to go into Dave not liking it because it's kind of white Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And Atlanta has a special place in my heart, but it's a good show.
Lady Gaga's album, Chromatica, bangers all over. The first 4 or 5 tracks, man, awesome. Definitely bangs. So shout out to her. I tried out this app called Replica with a K. Do you know what that is?
No, what is that? I saw that on the rundown. I don't know.
So Replica is an app that a bunch of people that have been self-quarantined, they've started using. So what it is, you create it. It's almost like creating an avatar. Right, and you start talking to it. It's like a gigapet. Do you remember what a gigapet is? Yeah. So it's a real life gigapet. You create this artificial intelligent thing on your phone, and it starts learning conversation with you. It starts picking up certain habits and certain tendencies. And to me, I'm on it for like literally 4 minutes, and then I get a message where the creators of Replica are like, "Hey, let's talk about your money."
What the hell?
It was so strange. I'm like, let's delete this app because because this is literally just getting a ton of information on you, and it's a Chinese or Russian app.
That's creepier than what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say you started getting like specific ads for stuff that you were referencing in the app. That's creepier than that.
Yeah, it was nuts. I deleted
it. You for your money, like your money situation.
No, I didn't even click on it. It just said, it just said, hey, let's talk about your money. Like money lessons almost. Huh. And I'm like, no part of that.
Let's not.
Yeah, let's not do it. El Jefe brought up a good one that we forgot, Wild Things from the Weekend. a guy traded a Rottweiler puppy for some Jordan 13 Flints.
Yeah.
It's one of the
I
wins
think-
that
I
who
think-
won that trade?
I think it was a husky, wasn't it?
Was it a husky?
I
Whatever
think
it was.
so. The guy who won the dog won the trade. Like your sneakers over a beautiful puppy. Come on, it's
Yo,
the dog.
That
And
puppy is going to keep him awake all night long. It's
But he had-
going to
he-
cost him through the course of his puppy and dog life. It's going to cost that human at minimum. I'm going to say if there's nothing crazy that happens, at minimum $10,000.
But he has a friend for life. Damn it.
Yo, you could have had some shoes for life.
No, not for life. Till
Yeah.
you wore him out.
That's what he could have had.
No.
Okay.
Give me the puppy.
All right. Do you want to play click or no click, or I think we're out of time. It's an hour. We're at an hour.
We could do a quick click or no click. We have 6
do it.
stories this week. So you ready to roll?
Let's do it. Let's do click or no click. It's a game where Jose's going to read me headlines, and if it's intriguing enough, if it's clickbaity enough, I will say click or no click.
All right, first up. Man attempts to reheat pizza on packed flight with light above his seat.
What? That sounds pretty straightforward, but I want more details on this one. Give me a click on that one. I need details. Man tries to reheat pizza using the light above him on a plane.
So the actual headline: Man attempts to reheat food on packed flight, leaving passengers baffled.
Where was he
my
flying to?
There's
Is it-
actually a picture in the article.
No, there's not.
The guy putting the pizza, and it's a big like New York slice. It's not like a little tiny. I was thinking a hot pocket for some reason, but no, this is a massive New York pizza slice that the man put to the.
Okay, you know what? You can reheat though. You can reheat those with just a light bulb. I'm with it. I'm with this guy. Next headline.
Oh my god, that's so funny. The next headline: COVID-19 is costing drug cartels millions of dollars. Good.
Yeah, good. I don't want to click. No click. That's obvious.
3. Florida high school holds its graduation ceremony on jet skis.
Oh, I saw the pictures for this one. Yo, I want that dude from Tiger King to roll up. Remember the jet ski guy?
No, I don't remember the jet ski.
Remember that scene? The fat dude, the strip club owner.
Oh yeah.
Remember that scene where with Eye of the Tiger playing?
Yes, and you know what? Earlier when we were talking about what happened this year, we didn't talk about Tiger King. We didn't mention Tiger King.
Yeah, because that was. I mean, at the moment, it was the biggest thing. We're like, oh my god, Tiger King, so interesting. Man, COVID-19 kicked its ass.
COVID-19 and 4.
Okay, next headline.
Drug dealers turn corporate by selling customer databases for more than $180,000.
Whoa.
What?
Okay, I'm intrigued by this one. How do they have information on their clients?
So this is from Market Watch.
Hold on, this is on Market
criminals
Watch?
are using product. Yeah, savvy criminals are using product placement and branding, mimicking tactics used by legitimate firms. What? Drug cartels have turned corporate, selling their customers' databases for as much as 150,000 euros, which is $183,000. The savvy criminals have established a value market and client list and are also using product placement and branding. The details contained in a new book highlight the intense competition between different groups who have turned to the business world tactics to give themselves a competitive edge. So does this mean different cartels are like fighting for like data mining, like of the people they sell drugs to?
I'm assuming so. Like, man, that's pretty dope right there. Pun intended. Like, it's gone to the next level now. You just can't be a dope boy anymore. You can't be a corner boy anymore. You gotta know your way around data mining. That's pretty dope.
So it's a study published by the Bristol University Press, and it reveals the extensive criminal exploration and control in a daily grind of selling drugs. It draws upon interviews and case studies, giving a voice to users and dealers alongside in-depth analysis of the techniques and relationship of gangs, youth violence, and drugs. Holy cow!
Wow, that's a lot of information. That click was worth it. We got our money's worth with that click. Okay, last one before we wrap this bad boy up.
I'm laughing just reading it. St. Paul Police screens Zootopia as part of anti-bias training. What?
Hold on. What? Hold on. St. Paul Police screen Zootopia as part of anti-bias
training.
St. Paul, which is right down the street. Oh, click it. Yes, absolutely. Right. This is an onion story.
I made the executive decision of clipping it. No, it's not. It's from Fox 9, which I assume is in Minneapolis. Yeah, it is. Minneapolis, St. Paul's Fox affiliate. More than 800 employees of the St. Paul Police Department recently went through their annual equity training. This year, they turned to an animated film from Hollywood to talk about some serious issues they face every day. Zootopia, which was released last year. Was it really? I feel like it was longer than that. Won an Oscar for its handling of subjects of prejudice and bias. Now the animated metaphor for forced relations could help police in the real world see those same issues in a new light. Oh my god.
Yo, come on, man. They're teaching cops about equality with Zootopia. Man, y'all gotta reform the whole system. Reform the whole damn system, man.
Yes. I don't even remember Zootopia.
Nobody remembers Zootopia except for the cops that watch this. And no, they actually forgot the message from it. What is what is happening here?
From the largest elephant to the smallest shrew, the city of Zootopia is a mammal metropolis where various animals live and thrive. When Judy Hopps becomes the first rabbit to join the police force, she quickly learns how tough it is to enforce the law. Determined to prove herself, Judy jumps at the opportunity to solve a mysterious case.
Whoa. Spoiler alert, bro. Spoiler alert.
Unfortunately, that means working with Nick Wilde, a wild fox who makes her job even harder. Okay.
All right, last one. You said you
I feel like
I'm so confused.
I feel like we could have chosen a lot different, like a way different movie than that. I don't know.
Okay, last one.
Yeah, there was a bonus one I added on here. 7-year-old British boy is the youngest ever to be held for drug possessions in the UK.
Damn. Give me
7 years old.
7 years old. Drug possession.
In UK across the pond.
Give me a click.
This is from The Sun. Reports that a child from West Yorkshire was held for possession of, and with intent to supply an unspecified narcotic, and that his arrest was recorded on social services were informed. However, as he was under the age of 10, which is the legal age for criminal responsibility in England, he could not be charged. Wow. Interesting.
Well, I mean, we've learned from how many shows on Netflix and HBO that's why you use kids, children, right? So they don't get charged.
Wow. 7 years old, though.
That sounds about right.
I have a nephew who's that age, and I just can't imagine processing. How do you explain that to a 7-year-old?
Because you're not a businessman. You're a business man. That's why. Okay, anything else before we get out of here, Jose?
I think we're good, man. We've covered pretty much everything we wanted to cover.
I want to give a shout out to the following people that have donated to the podcast on Venmo at Raheel Podcast. Landa Steve, he donated $3.69 for Jose's June celebrations. El Jefe, he donated $3.69. Happy Pride for Jose Partida 4. So you will be receiving some of these donations. Our man Brandon Hannon, who is awesome, man. Thank you so much for your donation, and thank you for supporting us. He is one of our P1s, podcast one. So thank you so much. And he wants to hoop it up. So yes, if we can find a court, let's play. And then beautiful Andrew, God, he's so beautiful. Even the $1 he donated, Jose, is a beautiful $1.
That's how you donated, you broke bitch?
Hey, man, that's all we say, baby. Donate $1. Now, watch out. Oh, watch out, Virgil. Gosh.
I'm fucking watching.
All right, we are out of time. Thank you so much. We're not out of time because there really is no time on a podcast, which is dumb of me to say. That's just my radio days. Thank you again to everybody. Hey, the first batch of Spicy Boys shirts have hit. You can see Jose wearing his right now. You see mine in the shot right there. You can get yours, but there's only 20 left. Okay, only 20 Spicy Boy t-shirts left. Once these are done, that's it. We're not making any more. I'm not going to reprint them and all that. There's only 20 left at teespring.com. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Spread the show. Send it to somebody that hasn't heard the show. Thank you to everyone that has helped get us closer to that 1,000 new subscriber number, Jose. June 6th. That's this weekend. We're going to hit it. I'm confident. The numbers have been awesome. Thank you, everyone, for the support. Jose, stay safe out there, man, and stay sane out there. Things are going to get better, hopefully. I say hopefully because I don't know. Honestly, it's just wild right now. But stay in there and then text me if you need anything, buddy.
Same for you, brother. Take care of yourself.
All right, we will talk to you guys next time on the Raheel Show podcast.
Stay spicy.